Hey there! Welcome back to my little corner. I've put together a simple plan to help you progress in conversations from a wholesome big picture perspective. This is part one of a two-part series where I'll help you build a plan with your Spanish conversation journey. And also, I will show you how to set meaningful goals and reach them at each step. Let's dive in. I don't know about you, but when I first started having conversations in English, the usual language progress methods felt frustrating. Standard levels like A1 or B2 didn't really match up with real life situations. So I decided to create my own personal milestones to help me see where I was and track my progress in a way that felt meaningful. The first thing I recommend is setting realistic goals. Aiming for something like being fluent is too broad. Fluent in what context? For how long? In which type of situations? With what style? Be specific and honest with yourself. For example, you might say, I want to feel confident ordering at restaurants when I visit Medellin. Or I want to make small talk about the weather in elevators. Why be so specific? Because these personal, real-world goals are what you're gonna track in the chart, giving you a sense of progress that feels motivating and achievable. The next step is to create your own milestone-based rating scale. Or you can grab mine if you are subscribed to my newsletter. After years of teaching young kids, I came to strongly disagree with the typical numerical grading system. You might be used to it, but numbers alone don't show meaningful progress. For example, if you get a 2 out of 5, it might tell you you're not there yet, but it doesn't show what you're doing well, where your strengths are, or how to improve. Schools often rely on these numbers to speed up grading, but there is so much more to progress than a number, right? So, when you're planning and tracking your conversation progress, remember that the chart isn't going to work miracles, really, but it will give you guidance. You'll still need regular conversations to keep adding info to the chart. And if you are unsure where to start, check out my coaching programs. Now, let's talk about what I like to track in conversations. I split the key aspects into two groups: emotional response and intellectual response. Today, we'll focus on emotional responses and how to plan your progress. What's included in emotional response? Well, it's about things like your confidence level, spontaneity, and the time it takes you to respond in a conversation. Let's break this down in detail. Alright, so we know there are two types of responses in any conversation: emotional and intellectual, both measurable. Today we're focusing more on the emotional response, and if you're subscribed to my newsletter, you'll get this soon. If not, go ahead and subscribe. Now, there are three key things to pay attention on when managing our emotional response: how long it takes to reply, how confident we sound, and how spontaneous we are in the interaction. When it comes to response time, here, there are different levels, of course, and we can definitely work on them separately to be more efficient and not get overwhelmed. You might be taking forever translating word by word, or maybe you can answer simple questions but still overthink your responses. Then there is this classic hesitation and self-correction, like, yo como mucha pasta. Ah, no, comió. Ah, no, comiste. This kind of self-correction breaks your flow and makes you hesitate, which is a real struggle. Your goals here will focus on how you handle interactions and help yourself feel more comfortable. You might aim to reduce hesitation or respond more quickly or keep a positive reaction that you can apply to a different situation in a conversation. For that, you have this kind of plan. It's kind of a guide, right? So you get here the reaction, the description of the reaction, your goal according to the description and according to the way that you feel and handle the interaction. And of course, tips on how to do it. Because most important is for learners know how to do this, how to achieve this confidence level where our response are being delivered on time, let's say, yeah? And here you get the observations. So you might get things like your goal is to improve the frequency of your responses. So how to do this? Simplifying your thoughts in your first language and also using the 50-50% rule in conversation. If you are following my videos, you're gonna get a lot of information about how to do this in specific videos, okay? So yeah, this is the chart for the response time. Now let's go to the other one to check the confidence level. So confidence can be tricky. I know many of you might feel a bit nervous about speaking, or you stick to just answering questions. So how do we plan and track our progress? By focusing on one reaction at a time and setting specific goals to improve. So let's see it together. Here I split the reactions into different kind of reactions. Apprehensive, the shy or timid speaker, comfortable but cautious, proactive speaker, and the natural speaker. Okay, so for every single reaction, you get the description. Maybe you feel nervous about speaking and avoid starting conversations, or you speak minimally and mainly answering questions, or maybe you engage in conversations, but you still hesitate about everything. Or maybe you are the proactive one and you might start conversations on familiar topics, but after a few sentences, they begin to sound choppy. So for every single description, we set a specific goal. Either finding a regular conversation partner, or become an active speaker, or get more comfortable with mistakes. This is super important, by the way. Or reduce conversation patterns that make you sound choppy, like and rolling eyes, yeah? And in the how to do it section, you can write down how you're going to really achieve this. Because one thing is identifying what is the reaction, the other thing is setting the goal and how to do it. Most important, how we're going to do this. Well, here you can write down that or use the prompt that I'm giving you, okay? So now we're gonna check this section, the conversation spontaneity, how spontaneous we are in a conversation and how we react and how we can do it, okay? Being spontaneous comes from feeling comfortable in your own Spanish skin. The more relaxed we are, the easier words flow. When we start speaking a second language, our brain can get triggered by fear, which messes with our flow and makes us sound choppy. So let's break this down and see how we can improve it. So maybe you are in the kind of reactions like I call scripted responses. It's when you rely constantly on pre-prepared phrases. So you struggle a lot to improvise. And when the conversation drifts from the prepared response, then you are starting to get into a collapse phase, right? So what is your goal here? Different phrases, adding a variety of phrases. And how you can do this? Well, adding connectors to your speech helps you linking phrases one to the other, right? So this is something that you might consider. Maybe you are in the kind of reaction that is like a guided conversation. So you basically depend on the other person's questions, let's say. So at this level, you might want to keep the conversation going as much as possible. So how can you do this? Adding follow-up questions to keep this conversation going. So like asking a lot, and also relying in the 50% rule. If you're following my videos, you have a video for this specific and how to do it. So go ahead and watch that. Maybe you are also, I don't know, in the basic improvisation, or you get engaged in the interaction, or you are already in the natural flows. So for every reaction, we describe the reaction and we set a specific goal and how to do it.
this is the way that we can keep track on our progress, which is super hard when in a conversation. And if you share something like this to your conversation partner or tutor, you're gonna notice how you are improving over time. Sometimes it's super hard to measure this in our conversation journey, let's say. So let's go back to the other video, because I have a few explanations there as well.
When we are in a conversation in Spanish, our brains are taking on a big challenge and our emotions are super vulnerable. We often think our responses will come just from the knowledge we've studied. And yes, that's part of it, but that's only the foundation. The real challenge is overcoming the fear that creeps in, the hesitation, and those moments when our minds go blank. That's why paying attention to this emotional layer is so important for improving our communication. I know you've probably put in a lot of time memorizing and building up that intellectual foundation, and that's great. My advice, start paying attention to how your brain reacts in the moment. Label what comes up and add it to your chart if it's not there yet. This way, you'll keep an eye on it and start seeing real progress. Stay tuned, because next week I'll cover how to measure intellectual progress in conversations. Thanks so much for watching, giving a thumbs up, sharing and spreading the word. Your support means a lot and helps keep the channel growing. Keep up all the good work and nos vemos pronto. Chao, 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 chao.